Hello everyone, and welcome. Have you ever been so focused on winning that you almost missed something wonderful? Today's story is about a situation like that. It is called The Two Stubborn Goats on a Narrow Bridge. In a quiet town, surrounded by green hills, lived a young woman named Anya. Anya was a painter. She loved to create art more than anything. Her paintings were full of color and life. They showed the simple beauty of her town. She worked very hard every single day. She dreamed of sharing her art with the world. She believed in her talent completely. This belief made her strong. It also made her a little stubborn. She knew her way was the right way. One afternoon, a special letter arrived. It was from the National Arts Council. Her hands trembled as she opened it. The letter said she had won the top prize in a national competition. Her painting was chosen from thousands of others. The prize was a trip to Singapore. She would represent her country at the International Art Festival. Anya felt a huge wave of happiness. Pride and joy filled her heart. This was her chance. This was the moment she had worked for. The weeks leading up to the trip were a blur of excitement. Anya carefully prepared her best paintings. She packed her brushes and her favorite colors. She had never been on an airplane before. The thought was both scary and thrilling. When the day came, she said goodbye to her family at the airport. Their proud smiles gave her courage. As the plane took off, she looked out the window. Her small town became tiny below. She felt nervous but also incredibly excited. A new chapter of her life was starting. Singapore was amazing. The city was a giant piece of art itself. Tall buildings reached for the sky like glass mountains. The streets were clean and filled with people from all over the world. Anya felt small in the huge city, but her determination was bigger than any building. She took a taxi directly to the festival hall. It was a massive, modern building full of light and energy. She found her name on the directory. She was assigned to booth 22B. She pulled her suitcase full of art supplies and paintings. She walked through the busy hall. Artists were setting up their spaces. The air buzzed with creative energy. She finally found her section. A sign read, Booth 22B. But someone was already there. A young man was unpacking his own paintings. They were bold and abstract, with dark colors and strong lines. They were the complete opposite of her own bright, detailed work. He had already put up a few of his canvases. He looked just as surprised to see her. "Excuse me," Anya said, trying to be polite. "I think you are in the wrong place. This is my booth." The young man turned. He had a serious expression. "I don't think so," he replied, holding up a piece of paper. "My name is Rowan. This is booth 22B. I booked it 2 months ago." Anya pulled out her own letter. It also said booth 22B. They looked at each other's papers. It was true. There was a mistake. They had both been given the same small space. The booth was a tiny square. It was barely big enough for one artist. It was impossible for two. "Well, you will have to move," Anya said firmly. Her dream was not going to be ruined by a simple mistake. "I am the winner of the national prize. This space is for me." Rowan did not look impressed. "And I am a featured artist here. I paid for this spot. I am not going anywhere," he said. His voice was calm but just as stubborn as hers. They stood there, facing each other in the small space. They were like two goats on a narrow bridge. Neither one was willing to go back. The festival organizers were very busy. They came to the booth and apologized for the mix-up. They said every single spot was taken. There were no other booths available. You will have to share, the organizer suggested before rushing away. Share? The idea seemed impossible. Anya looked at Rowan's dark, modern paintings. He looked at her bright, traditional landscapes. Their art was completely different. Their personalities seemed different too. They stood in silence for a long time. The anger slowly turned into frustration. Anya felt her perfect dream begin to crack. She had worked so hard for this moment. Now she was stuck with this difficult, stubborn man. She decided to ignore him. She started to unpack her things on one tiny side of the booth. She had a special wooden stand for her main painting. As she tried to set it up, a piece of it snapped. The stand collapsed. Her painting was safe, but the stand was broken. Tears of frustration filled her eyes. It was all going wrong. Rowan watched her from his side of the booth. He saw her distress. He saw the broken stand. For a moment, he felt a little happy that her plan was failing. But then he saw the tear roll down her cheek. He sighed. He put down his own canvas. "Let me see it," he said softly. Anya looked up, surprised. "What?" "The stand," he said, pointing. "I'm good with things like this. Maybe I can fix it." Anya was hesitant. She didn't want his help. But she also knew she couldn't fix it herself. She pushed the broken pieces toward him. Rowan sat on the floor and examined the wood. He took a small tool kit from his bag. He worked quietly and with great focus. Anya watched him. His hands were gentle and sure. He was not just a stubborn artist. He was a craftsman. After about 20 minutes, he stood up. "Try it now," he said. The stand was fixed. It was strong and stable. Anya placed her main painting on it. It looked perfect. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely a whisper. That small act of kindness changed everything. The tension in the small booth disappeared. They started to talk. Not as rivals, but as two artists in a difficult situation. They decided to try sharing the space. Anya moved her paintings to one side. Rowan arranged his on the other. Something unexpected happened. Their different styles did not clash. Instead, they made each other look more interesting. The bright colors of her landscapes made his dark abstracts seem more powerful. His bold lines made her delicate details look even more special. People who walked by the booth often stopped. They were curious about the two different styles together. They started selling paintings. They worked as a team. Rowan would talk to customers who liked modern art. Anya would talk to those who preferred traditional scenes. They started having lunch together. Rowan told her about his life in the city. Anya told him about her quiet town. They discovered they both loved the same kind of music. They learned they even had the same favorite art teacher from years ago. They laughed about how their old teacher would scold them for being so stubborn. During the evenings, after the festival closed, Rowan showed Anya his Singapore. He took her to quiet gardens and busy food markets. He showed her the city's hidden beauty. She saw a kindness in him that she had not seen before. She realized his art was not dark, but full of deep emotion. He saw that her art was not just pretty, but full of strength and heart. They were not so different after all. On the last day of the festival, a famous gallery owner visited their booth. He was very impressed by how their two styles created a unique story. He offered them a special exhibition together back in their home country. They would be featured as a duo. It was an opportunity beyond their wildest dreams. They looked at each other and smiled. They had started on a narrow bridge, ready for a fight. But by choosing to help each other, they had built something much bigger. They found success, friendship, and maybe even something more. They learned that letting go of a little pride could open the door to a beautiful future, a future they would now share.